All right, y'all. So the moment has come. The honeymoon phase is over. Right. So now you get to really talk about the real relationship after the honeymoon, after we've moved in together, we live together now, me and the Z Fold. How do I really feel about it? So I do have a lot of thoughts about this phone. First of all, let me start out by saying that this is a great phone. Okay, so let's not get that twisted. For those that are just waiting in the comment sections to pounce, and it's usually people that don't even buy the product. They just want to throw their 2 cents in there. But this is a great phone. Um, there's things about it that I love. There's things about it that I don't like as much. But just to name a few things that I really like about this device, the form factor, I think they nailed it. Because really what you have here is a device that you can use one-handed for the most part because it is outside screen. And then you also have it where you can just really open this thing up when you have the opportunity and then do whatever you need to do with this beautiful screen. So I think this form factor is here to stay. I can't wait to see what they do with the next generation of it. Um, so it's easy to hold, right? It's pretty pocketable, easy to hold. It's probably even easier, if I had a case. Still waiting on that case, but definitely something that you can get a nice grip on, and I'm not too worried about it, except for like going outside and doing different activities. So I love the feel of the phone. The speakers are really nice on here. The speakers are amazing on here. The software, nice and snappy. Samsung has kind of mastered their software now. There's no lag anymore, and we're going to talk about that later too. So no lag. This thing is really snappy. So using it as a phone, could this be a daily driver? I think it really could be for most people. Most people could work this in to be their daily driver. Is it practical for most people? Probably not. You have to make some adjustments, but this is more than capable of being your daily driver. It's not missing anything drastic to where it can't be your daily driver. The battery life is really solid. The cameras are decent on here. The software has been flawless for me. The screen quality is mint, right? Samsung Samsung makes the best screens, in my opinion. As far as dislikes, there's only a couple things. I tend to go jogging, so I can't really use this device. There's no way in the world I would ever take this jogging with me with the risk of it coming out of my pocket or the pouch or whatever, and falling, taking that tumble. So that makes it kind of inconvenient. And I honestly, I don't even use my iPhone when I go jogging anymore. I just put all my music on my Apple Watch and jog that way. So that way I got nothing flopping around, um, you know, when you're jogging. So the camera situation, these cameras are passable. They're good cameras. But like I mentioned in the other video, for $2,000, I feel slighted that the Note 20 Ultra has better cameras. Like, I just don't think that's fair. That's not right. So hopefully they rectify that in Generation 3. If they're going to sell this thing for $2,000 again, I needed to have the best cameras that they offer. That's just the bottom line. In the speaker placement, like I said, I have to get used to tilting the phone to the right so that way I don't block the speakers. So the speaker placement to me is a little awkward because then you're touching the camera. I don't like that idea, but I mean, that's, it's not a deal breaker for that. That's an easy fix. You just have to get used to that. But the biggest thing for me is that it doesn't have an S Pen. And one could argue that the Note 20 Ultra is the ultimate phone right now. There's nothing that really competes with it because of the S Pen and that software. So I know you can add like third-party stuff to this at your own risk. I've seen like some capacitive styluses and whatnot you could use on the screen if you really wanted to. But I really want them to implement that on the next generation, which I really think that they will. So once they add that, it's like game over. because then, I mean, there's not much else to talk about. As long as they give you the best camera available, the best battery, even though the battery is really good on here, it's a full, I can get a full day out of it. There's no reason, in my opinion, that they can't fit their biggest battery in this phone. Like, just go ahead and do it. I've seen like the ROG Phone 3, whatever, has like 6,000 milliamp battery. There's no reason why this shouldn't at least be 5,000 or 5,500. There has to be a way that they could do that. Hopefully they do it on the next one. But with all that being said, when the honeymoon phase is over, this is really what it boils down to. And again, these are my opinions, all right? So you guys can disagree with the way I feel and how I use my phones. I mean, everybody does something different with their phones, but what it boils down to is, how do you use your phone? Like, to me, it boils down to your core apps, right? Which I tend to keep on my main screen here. The core apps, the things that you use every single day, whether it's your social media, whether it's your email, the camera app, your banking app. So those to me are your core apps. So at the end of the day, I really have to ask myself, what does this phone do to enhance my everyday use, right? So one thing that I've noticed about using both Android and iOS is that Android definitely, well, obviously is more fun, right? You can customize it and whatnot, but really the market is opened up to so many different free apps that can enhance your experience. For example, this NFL live streaming app that I had no clue about until a buddy of mine asked me about, did I catch the Giants game, which it's tough to be a Giants fan right now. We are terrible. But in my area, they weren't showing the game. So when he told me about this app, I didn't even have this phone yet. And I was using my iPhone, and I couldn't get that app on my iPhone. But I was able to download it, and I was able to catch, a lot of different games for free with this app on the phone. So there's a huge advantage there. So I need both Android and iOS in my life. I do appreciate the Apple ecosystem, making things a lot easier. Like I said, once you have a couple of devices within that ecosystem, it's tough to go away from that. But I love the customization you can do with Android and the way they approach things. So having a huge canvas, definitely, if you are doing like video editing and different things where you have to edit and you need a bigger canvas, this thing is perfect, right? This is the ultimate phone for that. It would be even better if you add the S Pen to it. But with all that said, you still come back to your core applications. And what is it that this device is going to do that the other phones, for example, like the Note 20 Ultra, can't do? And for me, it doesn't enhance it that much to where this is worth $2,000 to me. I love the idea of this bigger screen. Do I always need it? Is it always ideal? No, right? It could be inconvenient, some could argue too, because now, depending on what you're looking at, and I'm not going to open up my email right now, but if I'm like looking at my email and somebody comes behind me, now they have access to things they shouldn't see, right? Same thing you can do with social media. Like, this is such a big canvas now, depending on how you're using this, whether you're on the bus, the train, or something like that, you're now inviting people to see what content you're viewing, right? So I love that you can go down to the smaller screen and then kind of protect yourself against that with this device. So it is pretty versatile. But after a while, you will start to notice the weight of it. So you may just pick it up for quick tasks and put it back down. But you can adjust and get used to it. But for me, the way I use my phones, I can't say that it's a huge advantage just to have a bigger canvas, right? I'm not somebody that edits videos and things like that on the phone. I have my iPad that I use for that a lot. And until they add S Pen support, this can definitely not replace my iPad. Can it replace my phone? Yeah, I could make that work. I could you know, no, I couldn't make that work either. I'm lying to myself. I can't get rid of my iPhone. Could this be a good secondary phone? Yes, definitely. If I had that kind of income where $2,000, hey, I can use this thing sparingly and not think about it. A lot of you can do that. I cannot, right? So I have to be honest with myself. A lot of you need to be honest with yourself. Is this something that, really enhances what you do on a day-to-day? If it is, then buy this phone. Would I recommend this one over the Surface Duo? Oh, yes, definitely. I can't even recommend the Surface Duo. And I know a lot of people are making or trying to make cases for that phone. I already sent mine back. No way. I just can't do it. This one, I can make strong cases that is worth the $2,000 if you have it. If you have it to spend, then by all means, you won't be disappointed with this phone. So, honeymoon phase is over. Can I recommend this? Definitely. Very nice phone, but I do caution you to think about how it enhances what you already do, or will you add something to your workload by having this device? Does this solve a problem for you? And that's really what it boils down to when you're buying a new phone. The software, where Samsung is right now with their software, and this is just my opinion, one could argue even like the Note 9 is a perfect phone, right? Because you're going to get a similar software experience. They're always enhancing features now, which is fantastic for people that have already spent $1,000 on a device that you don't want to see become obsolete in, a year or two. You want to be able to use your device and get a good 4 or 5 years out of it. So the software, to me, since probably the S9 or maybe it was the S8, the software has been so great on Samsung phones where you don't really see the lag or the issues and things like that. You only see enhancements. You could argue you're getting almost the same software experience on all of those Samsung devices from the S9 or S8 up. And to me, the camera on here is, I remember taking pictures with the Note 9 and having similar quality pictures coming out of that. So to me now, this phone is just a nice canvas. Is it worth $2,000 to have a bigger canvas? I guess you guys will have to answer that for yourselves. So hit me up in the comments, whether you agree or disagree. We can definitely have that conversation in the comments. But yeah, this is probably going to be the phone of the year. I don't see Apple really competing this year. One could argue if you have an iPhone SE, you've got the Apple experience, right? So Samsung and Apple are pretty neck and neck right now with the software experience. You don't have to spend, $1,500 and get the top dog to get that experience anymore, which is good for the consumers. So hit me up in the comments. How are you guys going to use this phone? I know a lot of people have this phone, which is fantastic. So how are you using it, right? So I'm curious. Hit me up in the comments. And until then, I guess I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.